Okay. Boy, I look like I'm in quarantine right now. It's rough. Sorry about that. But we're gonna monster up today, of course. Here's the grouch from yesterday. We added the extra hair. We treated the top bit up here. So this guy's ready to roll. I'm gonna set up the computer. Pop out chat. Hello, Scott and Spastic. Stanley. Good to see you guys on. And hi. Yes, it is definitely monster making time. So this is the grouch from yesterday. You can see that he now has some other hair in there. And I've also airbrushed just some, just some breakup of this green on here so that it's not as field of green. And the little top bit has been treated with hair, of course. So he's ready to go. He are done. But this guy is my focus right now. This guy is my focus now, so it's time for Wolfman stuff. Well, Spastic, my plan for today is to get done at a reasonable hour so I can sit on my couch and watch a movie with my wife. So am I starting earlier? Yes. We haven't had a lot of downtime, just us, and I just think that'll be nice. So I'm on a little earlier today in order to make that happen. I have my flesh color here, and I always test somewhere not obvious. Hello, Psycho and Lucky and Fondian, Stacy and Stanley and Cody and Spastic and Line Cook and Michael and James Minnick. Hello. Yeah, that is, I think, Stanley, I think that's your mask, if I'm not mistaken. My wife is better at knowing such things than me, but... Psycho's werewolf went out today. Good morning, Jesse Papa Bear and Gray House Haunts. Wolman. Oops, maybe I messed up my title. Hello, Rodney Pope, Larry Hughes. Got a lot of hats done today. That was part of my plan for grave diggers. I think I have 6 grave diggers from this point to do. Brandon, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Very early in the broadcast to get a super chat. I appreciate it, sir. Yeah, I figure if I can, I want to get this guy knocked out. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:13 p.m.
So probably by 9 o'clock, this guy will be done. Hair and everything, and I'll wrap up then. If I can get it done sooner, I will, but it's got to be right. We had a couple of these guys ordered with the wool, so we're starting on them. I did put a base coat on the bear today, the white bear. will be a polar bear. And I did a little test of how I'm going to do like snout hair and stuff. And I don't know if you can see that, but I think that's going to look fine on his snout. I'll do the fur all the way around here, but all of his head will be that other technique with a paint job under it. Hello, Tony. Brian, good to see you. Brian Lippert. Christopher. Lots of people on tonight. Wow. Jumped up there. Well, it's 25, but it's an active 25, and I like that. It kind of is white wool, kind of. It's actually just this like big yarn that they sell, and I apply it piece by piece, well, pinch by pinch, and then I glue it down, and then I cut it. So it's going to take a long time to do it, but I think it'll be cool because they got to have that short hair on their face. And just with the way that the way everything is right now, I just can't buy a flocking gun for $160. So I'm going to do it by hand. I probably just messed up the title. I don't wear my glasses as much as I should. Let's just say that. How to choose a different option? Well, message us, email us through the site is fine, and tell us what you want. I mean, that works out just fine. Eventually, we'll get the site set up where, lots of options are on there. Like, I want the option for drool on every mask, as like a $5 upgrade or whatever. Bloody should be an option. I want it bloody. Cool, Spastic. And, werewolves should all have different fur and hair color options on them in a drop down. And we're there with some of them, but not with all of them. My wife is the website person, and she is more essential than I as far as work goes. And I'm not going to worry about painting over there because I just don't have to. Because of all the hair it's going to get. And in all honesty, a lot of this gets hair too, but let's do it. Yep, I think I need glasses more than just every now and then, sadly. I'm going to put a little bit of white with this flesh. Psycho. You're a madman. But I appreciate you, madman. And I guess you warned us up front that you were a madman with the name Psycho and all that. I assume that Psycho is your first name and Axeman is your last name? This will perk this up. Hello, Hot Rod Bear. We're going to have a lot of bears on this evening, apparently. Word's getting out. Okay. Yeah, see how much fleshier that boom pops it right into it? I think Wolman would be terrifying. Although moles are scarier than voles, because voles are just too tiny. The dry brush does work great on black. I almost always base in black. Even when I did the bear white, I based it in black. Where are my glasses? Oh, that was a webmaster joke. I see how it is. Here are my glasses. Don't I look distinguished? Distinguished is Spanish for old. Oh my gosh, it makes me so angry how much better and crisper this looks just because I put my glasses on. Oh. I can see so good I'm angry. Okay, so we have a good flesh base on there. I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to grab some color, a little bit under the eyes, a little bit for the gums. I want to break free. I want to break free. The skull is done. And the grouch is finished. Okay, I'll show you him. He's right here. He got all the rest of his hair work done, including a little tuft up here. You can see that guy. And then I just airbrushed in a little bit of color in this to break it up so it's not so flat green. And it got the gloss. So this guy is ready to go and be crazy. The skull I'll show you guys in a little while. Because, yeah. Okay. And I have to check something here. That's right, the lime green oyster. Rodney Pope, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Line Cook Thor, I may not be old, but sometimes it's not the years, it's the mileage, my friend. It's the mileage. I'm a low years, high mileage vehicle. Drool's just $5. That's right. That's right. I was there when man evolved, Brandon. So, Brandon. There's an A. Okay. Yeah, under the eyes. Blue brush. I have not forsaken you. Just have to get a little brush. I got it. All right. Stanley, do you want it on this guy? Because I can just do it. I'll just do it on there. No problem. Just say I want drool, and then you'll have drool. Yeah, one of the cool things is that, when you when you get something, your odds are pretty good of seeing it made live. I'm going to make sure I work on Larry's Gravedigger live because it's not a standard Gravedigger. He'll have flesh color to him. Well, the blood would not be the Grouch's blood, so the blood would be human blood, so it would be red. I would say that the Grouch tore into somebody, and that is why he was bloody. And even Grouches get angry. Stanley, that was not necessary. And Lisa, your ghost will be on its way Monday. Ghost in hands. Okay. Periscope down. I do like how I sculpted the tongue on this one. I like that, in the mouth there's a tongue, and then there's good breathing on either side of it. But it stops you from seeing the actor's whole mouth. That's right. I used to have a pteranodon named Alexa. Hello, Robert White. Thank you. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying the Wolfman progress so far. I don't know how long I've been on, but it hasn't been long. And we are well on our way to Wolfmanery. Roddy, that's very interesting. I don't know why it won't let you do even numbers. I know that I can do drool prees. Got it. Got it. We will drool him up. I actually have the drool material in the fridge, so it's thicker. Let's get his nose black. That means I'm black. I hate masks with poor vision. It is one of the banes of my existence, and one of the reasons why I started mask making. At Terror on Church Street, I got extra hours by unpacking things for the gift shop and setting up the gift shop. And in doing that, I would try on every mask that came in. And you couldn't see and you couldn't breathe. And I wanted to work in them. Act, perform. So I'm like, okay, I've got to make my own. That's just all there is to it. Okay, let's clean this off. Robert, I'm sure that you could do it to some degree in some capacity if you tried. And now is when you're going to hop on and say, but I don't have any arms, or I don't, and then I'll say, well, I bet you could figure something out. A little bit of white with a little bit of this flesh tone in there to tone the white down for the teeth. I do tint the white on the teeth a little bit when I'm doing the wool, because that's such a high, it looks nice, so it's a high visibility thing. Yeah, you got to be able to see, you got to be able to breathe. And I have a love-hate relationship with Ed Edmonds, because he really started the craze of eyes in the mask, because it used to be almost all masks had eyes that were your eyes. They were your eyes. But Ed Edmonds started sculpting them with eyes in the mask because it looked cooler. But boy, did it make seeing in them hard, because then, you know, it was acceptable to look out of tear ducts. Well, how do I see out of this? See that pinhole right there? That's your vision. You can kind of see a spot 6 feet in front of you and 4 feet up. Oh, great. Brandon, I can send you, is that email that we've been talking on the one to send invoices? Because I can just send you a invoice through that if you'd like. Okay, let's see where we're at here. A little more on that tooth. I committed a sin. A little bit of white got between those two teeth. See that? It's the biggest sin you can commit, I think. Okay, now I have a line between my teeth. That makes me happy. Okay. I think I can start doing the back of the head. Yes, you do, Christopher. In Salem, no less. Okay, Michael Lassiter, be back shortly. Cool. All right, Psycho. I see you writing in caps because I don't have my glasses on. You whippersnappers, get off my digital lawn. That's right. As long as you have time to repent, you're good. So let's move this guy. I guess I'll do it right here. You guys want to see the creature skull? So I have done actually quite a bit of work on it. Let's drop you guys down a little. And I'll probably mold him tomorrow. I feel like it's ready. Will I keep the holes after painting? I don't know what you mean by holes. All this little texture here, yeah, that'll show up as black. Because I'm gonna dry brush it. I do have a chrome version in mind, Lisa. So you'll see it in chrome at some point. Thank you, Hot Rod Bear. Appreciate it. And I actually think I'll flip this table around to work on. That'll be $100, Lisa, when it's done. Now, I will honestly I'll have versions that are more, because I was thinking of doing a couple with horns on them. Do some with horns, do some with hair, you know, so, yeah. It should at least be a good mask. I don't know if it's great, but we'll see how it goes. It being a skull, I kept it very close to the armature. So, Axeman, I do not paper towel the whole thing, then bag it. My neck was drying out a little bit, so I have some wet paper towels down there. Yeah, full head masks for me are $100. I mean, unless they're massive and they just take more latex, then they might go to $125 or even $150. But half mask are $75. If I have to turn it into a whole head, either making it a sock mask or whatever, then it's then it goes to $100. But yeah, try to be reasonable. I don't know if it looks like his eyes could open, but thank you so much. That is a great compliment. Hair does cost more. Hair is both, it adds to the cost because hair can be pricey. I mean, one pack of hair is $10, so, you know, it gets pricey. And a lot of, like a werewolf mask will take 2 packs of hair. It's $20. I only charge $25. If I can mold it tomorrow, then it'll be added as early as, well, we'll take pictures of the blank and probably have the blank up on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then have a version of the finished mask up after that. Wear it for COVID shopping. So yeah, by the end of next week, I think we'll have a version up. I want to raise it up a little bit. It's a little low. It's a box. It's a glue stick box. It's a good glue stick box. Okay. We're looking. Okay, now I'm looking at the shop looks so much bigger in here because of the angle of the wide angle lens. What is the mask on the back table by the window? That is actually a Zagone Studios Wolfman. I bought it for nostalgia reasons, and I will certainly be redoing it. I'm going to change the hair on it and stuff. There you go. Oh, okay. So this is going to be, here it is. This is going to be a Demogorgon. Take a look at it. You can see pedal shape. Those are sockets for teeth. Mounted onto an EVA foam helmet. So that will be a Demogorgon mask. Sorry, guys. That's the helmet from the movie Dracula. I gotta stop spinning you guys around. It's easy on me. It might be hard on y'all. We don't want that. But I had to get this. Hello from Maine. Hello, Tutworks. Now we're back to a regularly scheduled view. Makes us focus. Ella, let's be honest. Did you start dizzy? Are the edibles kicking in? Okay. I could get you a Coke Zero, but then I wouldn't have as many. Speaking of which, I'm going to get my drink from over here. It's the call. Hello, Ethan. Okay. I'm not going to take you with me, but you can watch me while I go get the wool. Getting the Flintstones vitamins buzz. Hello, Spook Shack SPFX. Shannon would say you're too far away. That is a carnivore. That is a carnivore costume on that body form. Okay. Oh yeah. I won't need scissors yet, but I will need scissors eventually. I should have a stick, but I don't. I'll get one eventually. Yeah, you know, the live audience is very different from the YouTube Wednesday audience. For one, it's well, it's smaller, but that's good because we don't want 40,000 people on here. Because a lot of them would want us to talk about things they don't want to talk about. You know, I think 100, 130 is probably fine. Okay, I now have all the tools I need. Yes, carnivore. Because I want to add him to the website as a finished costume. One thing that we haven't done yet is put up any of the silk costumes, which we will. We just haven't yet. I don't want to knock over the paint and water, but if it happens, guys, it happens. We got to go with the flow. Tony, very recently, I have become old. Like, I wasn't old, I wasn't old, I wasn't old, and then bam, old. So my eyes sort of have stopped working. Like anything within about 4 feet is a little blurry. And I'm not a fan. I discussed it with my eyes, and they decided I need glasses. So here we are, me wearing glasses. Yeah, it just sort of snuck up on me, the oldness. I should be cutting this off so I can just lay the end in evenly, and I'll probably do that in the future. I just didn't on this first go round. If I can save a little bit of time, why not, eh? All right. So, you have one line done. And did someone on here order a Caracol Wolfman?
Hello.
Hey, wife.
Sorry I'm late. We've got some puppies.
Everybody was complaining about you, that you were late, and that you weren't really committed.
Really?
I tried to tell them that that wasn't the case,
Well, thank you for
that
staying
you were
up
very
for me.
committed.
Oh,
But
thank you. Thank you.
you know how they are.
Well, I'll be sure to read the comments later in the playback.
Yeah, then you'll see who was talking bad about you. Maybe it was me. Okay, so how far apart will I place the silicone? I'll probably go about 1.5 inches, about 1.5 inches apart, maybe 1.25 inches. My dogs are here,
Come on.
and now Cheney is wearing a cone because he got fixed Tuesday, but his stitches got infected because he wouldn't leave them alone. So now he has a cone, so he cannot lick his stitches. Hashtag stitch licking. Honey, Lisa wants to order a t-shirt. Can it be added to her box?
Lisa, who ordered the
Ghost and Hands, yes.
Absolutely.
Shannon says yes.
Absolutely.
She even said
She
absolutely.
is set to go on Monday, I think.
Yeah, she'll be out Monday.
Also, you know that brand new garden hose?
Yeah. Did someone eat it?
Yep.
Was it someone who wears a cone?
No, I don't think so. So I pulled the heavy duty one out of there. Oh, puppies. I love you so.
Well, I think it's been short enough where I can just take that hose back to Home Depot.
Oh, but then I'll dig it out of the garbage. But don't get another one like that.
Well, I don't think they make them that are teeth-proof, honey.
Yeah, we've got one that's teeth-free.
We do?
Yes, we do.
What's it look like?
Green.
Oh, one of the heavy vinyl ones?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. This is hair from the woolery. Yes, this is Caracol wool. Caracol wool. It is lovely. It is coarse, and it's already variegated isn't the right word, but it seems like it's mixed. You know what I mean? Because there's gray in there. It's very nice. get all set up and chill.
There you go.
Lisa wants to know if she should order a pizza. I think she means place an order on the website. Or
She can order pizza.
why don't we just invoice her for the t-shirt cost and we'll throw it in with the other box.
She can order it off the website.
Yeah, but then they'll charge her shipping.
Ah. Okay. Where did we end?
I have
Last we left our hero.
Spastic Pug ate the garden hose. He's fessing up.
Okay.
And
That
Brandon,
might be the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
he's trying to save the dogs. And Brandon asked if you were drinking from a pumpkin.
Yes.
So you'll have to bring your vessel over here and show it to the camera.
Lovely. It may be. You guys don't miss anything.
They
Okay.
don't miss anything.
It may be the middle of spring, but in my heart, it's always fall. Isn't that pretty? That's not for you.
Oh,
I just told you it's not for you.
honey, you accidentally put alcohol in there.
Oh, listen.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That or she got in my paint thinner. Man.
Yes. Yes.
Woo!
Yes. Mm. Ah. Yummy. Yummy. Okay. Oh my God. I don't know when last we left our heroes. Where did we? Plastic Pug?
Brandon said that is super neat. Psycho Axeman said he loves that. Jamie Thaxton says nice Jack and Coke. I think it's Sprite and
It's-
paint thinner. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not a drinker, so woo,
No.
woo. This
Let's
is
see. Okay,
more my
okay.
speed.
So, hi, Rodney Pope. So I'm gonna have to order me a Wolfman with that hair. 80%, 80 proof pumpkin shears. Oh my gosh, Halloween or not, fall is the best. The weather is just amazing. I agree, but I absolutely cannot resist pumpkins. And they're all over the place here, so. When I see copper pumpkins that are for Moscow mules or cocktails, yeah, gonna have them. Have a Coke Zero on me. Let's all focus, says Psycho Axeman. I agree.
okay. So
All right.
the caracal wool. All right. When I pull it off, and the next time I pull off a hank, I'll show you. That's Henk, a hank. I will show you what that looks like and how that works. Because this whole rope thing, it's not all, they're not all this long. It's several fibers together, because somewhere Rumpelstiltskin is working hard to spin this into wool. There was a horror movie in the 80s called Rumpelstiltskin. It might have been 90s, who knows? I think it was 80s. And it was so awesome. I loved that movie. It was like the Leprechaun, but it was Rumpelstiltskin. He stole a semi-truck and a motorcycle.
Hi, Ellen. Thank you for the input on my lamp today. I greatly appreciate that. Glenn McCain.
Dude, that lamp is awesome. I wish there was a way that you could share a link to it or something, because he made a beautiful skin lamp. It would go in Ed Gein's living room. I worry about his sanity, but it sure is a cool lamp.
Where's this tomorrow?
87 for Rumpelstiltskin.
I know that you will need this chair at some point tonight, and when you do, just tell me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I said I would show you when I was going to pull off a hank. And I know that they're about between 3 to 6 inches long.
Plastic Pug says, my partner's dream is to own a pumpkin farm. I hear you,
Awesome.
buddy.
I grab it by the end here, and I grab all of it, and then I just pull, and it's going to naturally separate along those fibers. So now I have this wad of hair, and each of these each of these is one solid fiber. So now, if I want short hairs, I just cut it in the middle, and I have two flat ends and shorter hair. But I want longer hair around the bottom here and on the back of the head. So I'm just going to cut off about an inch to get flat hairs.
Psycho says, Killer Clowns was my favorite. Rumpelstiltskin was 1987.
Killer Clowns is very popular. Yeah, you know what? I think it's actually more popular now than it was back then.
Spastic Pug says, I found a Rumpelstiltskin VHS where Billy Barty plays the title character.
Oh, yeah, that was a made-for-TV movie. Yeah. And I find that one all the time when I'm looking for the horror version.
Psycho says, oh, see, we don't know this. At least I don't.
And so someone asked earlier, how far apart do I do the silicone? You'll see it's about 1.5 inches. Is I'm just putting another line above that line.
Billy Barty was a great little dude.
He was. So, and Billy Barty was also very generous. When he started getting fame and became a name, he actually had an apartment building built in Hollywood that, the doors were 4 feet high, and they were, a full apartment, just smaller, for actors who came into Hollywood to work on movies, little people actors. And he let actors stay there for free. And he called them Stay Free Mini Pads.
I'm leaving.
Okay. My wife's going to leave.
I'm leaving. You have just...
That was funny. That was funny. I laughed when you told that to me.
Your opportunity to fuss at Ross in 1980.
Hey, listen, I'm just trying to keep up with them.
Anyone else who
Okay.
tells a bad dad joke, you have just given up your chance to smear.
That joke was gold.
Now they're going to flow like water. Psycho says they have one in Pasadena.
Okay, so see here?
Stacy says you just made Tony's night. That was such a great setup. 1980 started it. Brandon, you're correct, but now he's free range. 1980 is unbridled. Spastic Pug. Killer Clowns has become a cult classic. I really enjoy it because of the bulky foam costumes. Typically, I don't like scary clowns. I think they're overdone, but this film did it cheesy and comically.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's so original. It reeks of originality, and they're like, well, how stupid can we make this? Well, let's have killer clowns. Well, can we make it dumber? Let's have them be from outer space.
Alan, if you ever have to paint over that silicone, the paint can stick to the stuff. I know molding and casting silicone will stick to anything other than more silicone. But what about that kind?
Well, no, what you have to do is you have to mix oil paint in with silicone.
Thank you, Psycho.
And once you mix oil paint in with silicone, then then you can just put that on top, and then you've covered it, And what you also can do is you can actually put flocking on top of the wet silicone, and then you're actually going to paint that flocking because it shows up.
Or if you just popped on and said, you must be talking about killer clowns from outer space, I'm guessing.
We are. So again, Hank, grab it by the end, just give it a pull. It's going to naturally separate. Don't just cut into this, because you might have, fibers that are 1/2 inch long. And then you'd glue it on, and then the rest would fall off, and that wouldn't look good at all. Also, I'm going to modify my 1.5 inches back down to about 1 inch, because I feel like that's a little too far. So how I'm correcting it is when I put my hair on, I'm just sliding it down a little bit.
I think something being sci-fi almost automatically makes it a cult classic. It's popular, but it's almost niche in the same time at the same time.
There's a lot of good sci-fi though that is just not cult classics, and I really like them. There was a couple movies in the 90s that were sci-fi. One was called Screamers. That I thought they were just good horror movies.
Lawnmower Man?
Lawnmower Man was good. I mean, that was one of the first like CG beautiful movies, which now it just does not hold up, obviously. Psycho, thank you for that again. I appreciate that. This is caracal wool from the Woolery. And look at how that lays together. Oh, so beautiful. On this line, I'm just putting down a little lower. Same deal. Same process.
Ooh, Lord mercy.
What?
Shane is gassy.
It's the cone. It amplifies it.
Lawnmower Man is still a good classic. Still a good watch. Classic VR.
Yes. I loved Tron when I was a kid. I loved that movie. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a Tron video game that was like a little booth, and you went in and you played the Tron game, and there were a couple different like you could play light cycles in it. Yeah.
Psycho Axman says, "You're killing me, Smalls. Sandlot was my first movie I've seen in theater with my mother."
I say you're killing me, Smalls, all the time.
The original Tron was good. I remember that game.
I don't think I saw Sandlot in the theater. I think I saw it on video at a friend's house because they weren't allowed to watch good horror movies.
Brandon B. I wonder if Mr. Jimmy got a code for his surgery. Hashtag stitch licking.
Hashtag stitch licking.
This reminds me of the first black and white Wolfman Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, this is when I sculpted this, I used a couple references. One of them was the Wolfman from Monster Squad. I like that look, and I wanted to do one with the ears up higher on the head, like the Curse of the Werewolf with Oliver Reed. I like that look. And so I don't get too much silicone on my hands because silicone on your fingertips is the kiss of death. Because then everything you touch, it's gonna, if I put my finger down on this, I'm gonna come up with a whole wad of hair on my fingertip. You do not want that. So that's why I use the stick. I just pat it down there, and then I use the stick to scrape it in.
Herring is messy.
It can be. It can be.
Can you purchase that hair in different colors?
Yes, you can. This is from the Woolery, the Woolery.
Have you watched Prop Culture yet? They have cool Tron episodes.
I haven't watched Prop Culture. I like, that's why tonight I'm going to end a little early and just sit and watch some TV. I haven't watched any TV.
We really haven't. I don't know why we even bother with what we have. We just don't watch it.
This one feels long to me, so I'm going to give it a secondary tug.
Rob
No.
O'Brien, you're
It's
very welcome. He got his video and shirt today. It says, "Thanks for the skelly."
Oh, cool. Yes, of course.
Those are fun. We're just something fun to enjoy while you with your purchase. After watching Tron, I made my own Halloween costume with a hockey helmet and a turtleneck shirt.
Awesome.
A mile of blue automotive blue pinstripe.
Nice.
Is that particular silicone smell of vinegar? I use 1 or 3 on my terrarium projects.
No, this is Silicone 2. You are thinking of Silicone 1 from GE. Silicone 1 has that strong vinegar smell. Silicone 2 doesn't have the same smell.
Get it done, Alan.
They have
Psycho.
altered the formula so that it is a little more user-friendly.
I watched Daylight's End today.
What's that?
Rodney,
Is that a horror movie?
Stacy says, I think y'all will love prop culture. It's pretty awesome. Disney Plus.
Well, my plan was to watch Sweetheart with the wife because,
we have to schedule
yeah, I
time to stop and
started
watch
watching it. I'm like, you know what? This seems like it's actually good, and Shannon might enjoy it. And those movies are kind of rare that I like. You know, like she'll enjoy, like Downton Abbey or some crap like that.
Well, okay. There's a lot of horror movies that you and I like
Yes.
together.
Yes.
We have many horror movies we like together. And we watch them every Halloween, or we watch them anytime. But there are some movies that you will just put on and you're not even really watching them. You're on your computer taking care of all kinds of business while the movie plays in the background. And so it's not a movie that you're engaged in, but you just let it run. And it notoriously is
A lot of screaming.
so much screaming.
Yeah, a lot of
there's-
screaming.
And it's pretty pitiful. But you and I have a lot of horror movies that we do like.
Okay, so movie recommendation. I watched Boar today in that fashion while I was working. I forgot how fun that movie is and how big and scary a nice giant boar is. It was lovely. But I also watched today a movie that I recommend immensely. I think it was either an Amazon Prime or a Shudder exclusive, and it's called The Dead Detectives. The Dead Detectives. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it more than Ghostbusters. I just thought it was a really good, fun movie. It was in the Ghostbusters vein, but I just thought it was excellent. The Dead Detectives. Really fun movie. Did a lot of different things, and I enjoyed it. I laughed, I cried. It was better than Cats.
Psycho says it sticks. That what I did. Hot Rod Bear. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh snaps! Right out the door. So, you guys will like Sweetheart. Have you done burlap masks as prop for YouTube Wednesday?
I haven't done burlap masks for YouTube Wednesday, but I will eventually.
Watch 3 from Hell. It's a love story.
Well, I also think there might be a lot of screaming.
I'm okay with screaming. There should just be a reason for
And
it.
Psycho, while we get along, I don't actually enjoy movies about people killing people.
Right.
I want to see monsters killing people. If the movie's plot you could hear about on CNN, I kind of don't want to watch it. Either. Any of the Ghostbusters. I really enjoyed this movie. It was a lot of fun.
Will you be airbrushing the hair afterward?
No, these guys I leave au naturel.
We should make some movies based on the Dresden Files.
Me too. There was a TV show, but it was bad.
What did you use to seal your masks after they were painted?
Mostly, I use Liquitex varnish, either matte varnish or high gloss varnish.
Applied hair, is there a specific space or just put it where you think it's best?
Well, I want it, Paul, I want the hair to go where hair naturally goes. I want it to just look natural. So I put it where hair would naturally grow and in the direction that it naturally grows. Okay, I have a hank. I pull a hank. Okay. See, and I'm
Says it's a story like Bambi. Good morning, Richard McGrath.
like Bambi in that parents die.
Right now, Munster Go Home is on TV.
Well, you could have worse television. Now, see, and I didn't appreciate the Munsters until after I moved to Orlando. Like, I was in my 20s. I didn't like the Munsters as a kid because I thought they were making fun of monsters. And that angered me as a child. You know, sometimes it still angers me. But yeah, I didn't like the Munsters when I was a kid because I thought that they weren't taking Frankenstein seriously. So I preferred the Addams Family.
I've been waiting to see if Free from Hell since
A friend of mine who puts together, he helps put together Fangoria Horror Convention. He here in Texas. He wrote a review of Three from Hell. It was Three from Hell, and to hell it can go. Apparently he wasn't a fan.
Who was that?
His name is Bradley. He's one of the guys who organizes the party that we do the decorations for.
Okay.
You can see I've got a little pile, well you can't see, but if I did this, you could see. I have a little pile of popsicle sticks here, and I'm just trying to get one that's not covered in silicone to push these in.
Were there any good Halloween specials from older shows that you two enjoyed that you recall? Happy Days, Botany Part 2.
Well, I had to seek it out because I only heard about it when I was older, but Route 66 had a Halloween episode where Bela Lugosi, Vincent Price was on. I think it was Vincent Price, it was Lon Chaney Jr., and Peter Lorre were all on. And it was just so, and you know, that was the last time that Lon Chaney Jr. put on the Wolfman makeup. But it's just so fun. Okay. Jesse Papa Bear, thank you so much. You're not the only bear on this evening. Now we have a hot rod bear.
Oh, thank you, Jesse. There was, when I was little, anytime, oh, go ahead.
Look at how beautiful and variegated that wool is. Like, it's not all one color. It's lovely. And I could go in and airbrush. This will take ink, no problem. So I could pop in with the airbrush and darken a few areas, you know, and I might do that. Give him a little bit of Reed Richards temples.
I love any Halloween episode, but I think my favorite was probably the Ron Perlman Beauty and the Beast, Linda Hamilton series. I love that series, and they had a Halloween episode that I still watch every Halloween season. It's really beautiful. So, yes, I know. Roll your eyes at me, but I loved it. I thought that was a very good show. How long are you going to be on today?
Not that long, I hope. I need to get him finished, and when I get this guy finished, I'll probably wrap up for the night because I want to sit on the couch and watch some television. Haven't really done that in a couple weeks, so I'm gonna.
I said we have a plan, and Psycho said pray to alter it.
That's right. I've altered the
The wool
deal.
looks amazing. It's very natural.
It really is.
Fright Night. Oh,
It makes me look like I know what I'm doing.
Fright Night is great movie. Have you seen The Curious Creations of Christine McConnell?
Yes, cooking show. Yes. I think I've seen one episode of it. My wife has seen more.
No, I've never seen it.
You haven't?
No.
Oh.
You speak false. I have never seen it. Some of the series was written by George R. R. Martin. Is that true? I didn't know that. Well, I love that show.
Which show?
Beauty and the Beast.
That's why everybody dies.
You need you need to take it easy. You deserve to. Do you have a link for that wool?
It is thewoolery.com. WOOLERY.com.
Stacey, I probably would.
Would what?
Like the Christine McConnell show. There's so many shows that people tell me I need to check this out, you love it, and I tell you, it's just...
We just don't watch a lot of TV.
It's so hard for us to sit down for a couple of hours or even an hour and watch something. It is so hard for us to do.
And if it's something that we're both going to enjoy, it's even longer because then we both have to be there to sit and watch it. So that's even harder for us to sit and watch.
The first thing, Ellen says that I assign myself tasks.
She does.
And then, so like I have a day off, then I will fill it till daylight is over with things I need to do, or things I want to do, and
then she falls asleep.
Then I fall over. But we don't stop working and watch TV. We're gonna have to make this happen because everybody tells us about all these shows that we're watching. How far are you going up with the hair?
All the way. I mean, this is going to be forehead hair too. But this length, I'll probably stop it up here, and then I'll start short hair again.
My favorite Beauty and the Beast is a classic black and white French version. Love it.
So my favorite is actually... Oh, never mind. I was thinking of the wrong movie. I was thinking of Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a made-for-TV Hunchback, which is awesome.
Which we also love. Also a wonderful show. Love it. Is that the one with Salma Hayek?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. I mean, we should not even own as many DVDs as we do. We never watch them.
We suck at watching
We
TV.
do.
We need to apply
Psycho
ourselves and
says
work
that's
harder.
why you sculpted that line. Spook Shack. I've been
Kinda.
enjoying not watching the TV or the
Yeah.
news lately. Just so much we do.
One thing I have been doing, I used to do in the past, is when I started using the other hair sewn on the strip, I would actually put grooves in the sculpture to set those lines in. But I felt that was a little limiting too. What was nice is that I could then do a skin bump that just hit it, so it went from skin into the hair and you never saw the transition. So that was good, but it limited where I could put hair and how many different things I could do with the mask.
Hot Rod Bear, Salem's Lot, loved it. Did you read the original one with David Soul and James Mason? I still love it. And that kid floating in the window, terrible. It's still terrible. It still scares me to death. Tell me innovation. You need a job that's not like a hobby. Then you find time to watch TV.
Yeah.
Rodney Pope, I need to watch less TV.
Although, this isn't like a hobby to me because it's kind of always been my job. I just like what I do.
I love the classic Wolfman mask in the background.
That is a Zagone Studios mask. It is wonderful. So, when I lived in Orlando, one of the things that I did was I was a rollerblading Wolfman who handed out free admission flyers for a nightclub. That nightclub was Janie Lane Sunset Strip on 25 South Orange Avenue. And that was my job for years. And I wore that mask.
Is there anyone you would like to have a mask from?
I bought an Immortal mask a few years ago because I wanted to have a mask sculpted by Andrew Freeman. I bought a Sleepy Troll mask from Jordu because I wanted to have a mask sculpted by Jordu. I wouldn't mind having something from Don Lanning, except he doesn't do a lot of masks. So, but there's a lot of great mask makers out there. And sometimes I want them for sculpting reference, and sometimes I want them just, you know, because I enjoy their work and I want to support that person as best I can. Right now, I'm not trying to get any silicone on my finger.
Psycho says, it's a business, but you guys always have to have free time. We're trying.
Yeah, we're not good at that.
We're not.
My wife sucks at recreation. Terrible at it. She has no idea how to have fun. She's like, yes, it's my day off. I'm going to go weed the garden in 200-degree heat with a fork. Oh, okay, honey. You're laughing, but you know it's true.
I'm not denying it.
But, you know what? If I had married someone who didn't like to work or understand work, then I'd be in trouble. I'd be divorced.
Yes, that kid flicking his nails on the window is wicked. It's terrible. My favorite Quasimodo is the Longini. I want a Jordu mask, says Rodney Coe. So Jordu is great. Brady D. What? Oh. We gotta get better chairs for this shop. We have gotta get better chairs. Stacy, are you with me? We are in here so much, and these chairs are not this. That help?
Didn't go that time. It's okay.
Okay. He's wanting me. He's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
He's bad.
He aimed that thing.
Man. It's terrible.
Oh, there we go.
Brother?
Yes.
Here we go.
There's one chair in the shop that is just the right height for me to lean back on and crack my back. Because in here so much, my back just tightens up and tightens up.
We're gonna have to get some. Okay, I would love to watch Andrew Freeman do a sculpt. Brandon D says, I see your love for monsters, but are there any people you would like a mask of? A character such like Total Recall or thing?
No, not really. No.
Jordu is the king of alien sculpts.
He is.
Buddy, the fact that you support other mask makers is awesome. I have seen some get jealous and act weird if you own anything other than their work.
Oh no, that's so nuts. Paul Holster was on Haunter's Hangout with me. His work is amazing. I have several of his pieces. He's not really a mask maker per se. I think he's made one or two masks. Sculpts, I mean. But his sculpting, he is so wonderfully stylized. I'm not a great sculptor. I'm an okay sculptor. I understand the mechanics. I just have to fight time and my brain and my hands to make it work. I'm a good, I would say I'm good. I would not say that I am really good. And there are some that are great. And that is not me fishing for compliments. That is me being aware of my spot in the universe.
Excellent result with the use of fibers.
Oh, it is. Doesn't this just look so natural? And because I don't have a cut edge here, this all just kind of blends in.
Do you have a favorite mask that you have made?
You know what? I'm partial to the shark. And I'll probably be partial to the shark until I finish a bear. And then, well, right now I'm partial to the caracal wool Wolfman because he's beautiful.
What about John Fuller?
John Fuller's great. He does good stuff. Beautiful work. I don't have any of his. You know what? And Justin Maubrey, I have one or two of his. He's a good good sculptor. I mean, there's a lot of good sculptors out there. Ed Edmonds, you know, I buy stuff from Ed because, again, I just, you know, why would I not support someone who is as into monsters as I am? Today is Saturday, right, honey? Okay.
The Wolf Beast, the hooligan of Texas sculpting.
Yeah.
I think you're a great sculptor for masks. I've seen some that look great, they just don't function. I can't get to the armature from Amazon. I can't wait to get the armature from Amazon. So I can try my hand at sculpting a whole face. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I think you're ready, man. You were knocking out your work. He did some ears and noses and things, and they just turned out beautiful. I told him to make a Daryl Dixon necklace.
You should try grabbing a beam with both hands above your head and relax. It settles my back.
Okay. I don't
Have you
think.
ever considered making a Nosferatu mask with the monster head you made years ago?
Oh, I think that might be too small to be worn as a mask. No, it isn't. I could. I mean, I could pull that mold out. I know I still have it.
The Fishman mask is amazing.
Thanks.
Yes, it is Saturday. Svengoolie the horror host is on right now. We'll have to do the roller when we get to the house.
Yeah, we have a foam roller that'll crack my back too. I think that more stretched out my armpits. But I didn't quite hang either. Oh, there's a brush behind me here. Forgot all about that. A brush. A brush. All right. Yeah, I'm a good mask maker. But you know, sculpting and mask making, they're you need one to do the other. But not every great sculpt is a great mask. You know, if there's no eye holes in it, is it a mask? I think it's a bust at that point.
Where did you buy that hair?
The Woolery, WOOLERY, thewoolery.com.
Psycho Axeman says you need to hold it and breathe.
I'll do it later.
Best back relief is to lay face down and get someone to apply light pressure while pushing away from the spine. I have been watching your channel ever since you came out with the graveyard statue tutorial.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm actually going to do an update of that, actually. And I have to turn on the ceiling fan because I have a farting dog. And holy moly,
Oh my goodness, so gassy.
there are problems in here.
Psycho says, I thought you were going to watch movies with the wife.
Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 7:29 p.m.
Okay, I should be done with this guy by 8:30 or so. That's acceptable.
I definitely think sculpting a mask and sculpting a comfortable mask for a purpose are two different skills.
Yeah, and I make mine for haunted houses. I'm a haunted house mask maker, so it is a little bit of a different animal. I'm not making things for collectors. What?
You see Psycho's super chat?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, it's so true though. Oh my goodness, they're killing us. Yes, Pastor Toot Toot, they're gassy tonight, my goodness. Woo. Of course, they're here laying right next to me.
did you super chat $5 to my dogs for farts?
Yes, he did.
That's wildly inappropriate.
Melt your eyebrows off, no joke.
Not for sissies.
They are toxic tonight.
Did you give them anything different? Chicken?
Well,
We'll never get chicken again.
they got some chicken broth that I made from the giblets from the whole chicken that I roasted yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So all the innards, I just put them in it and cooked them, and
Yeah.
now they're to eat. You've not lived until you fed your dog half a dozen deviled eggs and a bowl of baked beans. Never, Brandon. I'm never gonna do
Wow.
that.
The worst we've ever done, we had dogs before these guys, and it was popcorn. I had to make a popcorn cannon. I made a popcorn shooting crossbow for a chess match fight at Renaissance Festival. And so it would shoot like a bucket of popcorn at people. Well, I tested it in the backyard, of course, and I had tested like 15 times. And the dogs ate all the popcorn, and holy moly, dog farts. Wow.
They weren't this. I don't know they were this bad.
They were worse.
The hair is laying down a very natural look.
Yeah, that's as long as you do it like shingles. You got to do the bottom first, then you go up, and I'm cutting one end of it. I'm cutting about an inch off.
Psycho, it could be the medicine. Cheney is on antibiotics, and he is pointed directly at me, so it very well could be.
So all of this is nice and uneven down here, and I'm gluing this end in. So
How long can you work with the silicone until it dries up?
honestly, maybe 15, 20 minutes. That's it.
Something about buttery, oily, fried things make the dogs go ballistic.
Well, me too. Let's be honest.
But this was, yeah, well.
See, I just get it to stick, and once I get it to stick, I use a stick. I just tap it in.
Brandon B says, I say fed, but it's more like he got on the table and helped himself. Bad dog. Like the hair, it really looks great.
Now see how locked in that is? Now I'll go and I'll do this section.
Tony's animation, yeah, I blame my pet too now. Paul Bennett says, add curls, just your
So
tutorials. Go ahead.
you guys are going to think I'm weird. I don't fart in front of my wife. I don't fart in front of girls. That's man behavior. So, I'll go away and do that. So hotboxing her in the bed, no. I think I'd be mortified if my wife farted on me or something like that. So I don't do it to her, you know. Everything in your body is awesome. Let it stay there.
I'm about to start reading comments, but they're all about to start coming. One of the things that I like about your channel is you encourage people to invent their own creatures. I loved my professional career, but had to recreate other designers' images work.
Yeah.
It's really amazing what you can do with vacuum cleaner hairs and ice packets or toaster strudels. Brandon D, what in the world?
I do love me some toaster strudel ice packets.
This is herring. I like the technique. Coffee and herring a monster is good work. Thank you, Alan Shannon, for making my week awesome. I have been it's been a long, stressful week. Your videos have been a huge help. I'm so glad.
Awesome.
Don't ever fart or poop by your wife or husband. Secret to a great marriage. Thank you, Hot Rod Bear. We're doing well.
In my opinion, I mean, but that's me.
When the silicone dries, can you notice it through the wool?
Well, the rule is, can you see it wet or dry in here? You just don't see it. You make sure it's all covered up. That's all.
Paul says he agrees. Watching the video makes it look very relaxing. It looks awesome. Alan doesn't hold farts because of manners, but out of fear his wife will get revenge.
You know what? As humans, we shouldn't fart on each other. You know, I just don't think that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Oh my goodness. Where this conversation is going.
I'll admit, I'm weird. I know it. There's some happy farters out there. I understand.
Thumbs up and streamer. Thank you. Hello, Gasly's TV.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. This thread has now taken. You directed this. This was
I didn't mean to direct it. I was just saying.
Farting on your kids is a right pull my finger. This is Ezekiel, by the way. I thought that was you, Ezekiel. That's very different. You can, that's a fatherly right.
I don't have any children, and if I did, I don't know if I would fart on them.
Spastic said, this is what the Terrence and Phillip chat is like.
It's all about farts, huh?
I wouldn't want the revenge party. Ezekiel says, my kid said Alan can be my dad.
Because I wouldn't fart on them?
Alan be my dad.
That's funny.
Is that paint on your finger, or did you give it a good smashing?
It's alcohol-based ink.
I agree with you, Alan. I don't fart around girls or in front of my boyfriends. I still remember the first time I heard a woman fart. I was in my mid-20s and I almost threw up.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, that's, don't do that. I'm not knocking the free farting lifestyle. Y'all do you. That's fine.
Oh, this thread.
I did once let someone go for farting. Like, I fired them. I mean, listen, you got to stop farting around people. And they didn't. So they had 2 warning conversations, and the third burp, and they were out.
I wish I could use silicone caulk to reapply the hair that's fallen out and fix my receding hairline.
You could. It just wouldn't last a long time. And also, silicone caulk has some heavy metals in it that you don't want to put directly on your skin. It's not going to leach through the latex, but
do you use smells in your haunt?
We do. We do.
Robert Bryan says, you do you, just over there.
Right, you do you on the other side of the room.
My dog farted himself awake and immediately tucked his tail and shaking and gave me the puppy dog eyes. Oh! Poor baby.
We used to have our Wendigo would.
Oh my God.
She was the first dog that was an audible farter that we had, and boy, she was a champion at farting.
Why were you fired? I farted.
Yes.
My wife said she didn't feel like I was comfortable around her until I farted in front of her. She has regretted it ever since. Stacy says, I grew up in a fart-friendly home, but the rule was established early that you aren't allowed to fart in the shop, so you never know.
Yes. Yes. In the shop, if you have to fart, you leave. You go outside. Just go outside. I won't ask why you're going
Psycho.
outside.
I'm with you. Psycho says, no more fart jokes. Thank you, Psycho. Psycho's right.
Are they cracking jokes?
It's just talking about farting.
Oh.
I told you that's what you did. You directed it towards farting.
I think we're having a
Meaningful
question about
conversation.
common courtesy.
Oh my goodness.
Some
When
folks
I say
gonna.
Ghastly's TV, okay, it's a secret.
Okay.
It says the cramps I went through in front of the Swedish princess when I was courting her. Oh,
I'm sure it was worth your pain, Ezekiel.
what are you building?
It's a duck. It's a werewolf. I mean, I'm putting hair in a werewolf.
Just
So.
another reason for an N95 mask. Your work is awesome. I was gonna make a fart joke, but I'll hold it in.
Who was that?
I won't tell you.
Good. All right, so yeah, caracal wool. I like this wool because it's very coarse. There's lots of other wool that is not as coarse, but this just has this great look, and it's really variegated. Some of the wools on there, and if you go to the Stiltby Studios website, you can see the spelling of caracal. It starts with a K, and there's other letters in it. One of them is R, followed by the word wool. Aaron, thank you so much. I apologize for all of the comments that are happening and the general tone of conversation. I'm sure we'll see our way through the fog of this conversation shortly. So, I just get a manageable size piece and I fan it out. And now I'm just going to stick this into the silicone.
What was your inspiration for this?
Just so many cool Wolfmen. I mean, for this sculpt or for the mask itself. I mean, for the sculpture, I use a lot of references, reference images, a lot of ZBrush, a little bit of the werewolf from Curse of the Werewolf. The werewolf from Monster Squad, the Wolfman from Monster Squad. I'm going to double duty here, and I'm going to hit his nose one more time with black. Because it's dry, and it's dried a little paler than I want. Darken that up. And we're going to hit his teeth again.
Watching this in fast forward, we will watch a werewolf reverse age its hairline. Alan said we will see our way through the fog. Oh, I asked.
No one noticed that.
I had asked something earlier. Hope you don't mind me repeating.
No.
Do you like lights in skeleton eye sockets? And if so, which colors for different contexts?
I do, but I will say most of the time I prefer an amber light in a skeleton's eye socket. These are questions that I didn't think I was going to get asked today. but now I have been asked.
Is silicone a special type or a common type?
Very common type. It is GE silicone caulk, 100% clear silicone caulking number 2.
How do you apply gloss on teeth?
I use an airbrush, but you could paint it on.
I love green, but it's always so darn bright. Talking about the skeleton lights, the lights in the eye sockets of the skeleton.
Yeah, what I have found, if you go green, then put a cotton ball over it, and the LED is normally enough to shine through the cotton ball, but it does a good job of diffusing. So put that LED all the way in the back and put that cotton ball up front, then you get this nice glow.
I ordered clay from Biddy today. I'm excited to get started.
Awesome. Who did that?
KissFan05.
Very cool.
Hello, Linda Ford. My dog farts and it scares him. He barks like it's going to get him. We call it the Woody. Alan, what is the best glue for gluing plastic to plastic? Gluing parts on my apocalypse masks now. Thanks.
Okay, so I can't answer that because I don't know what kind of plastic it is. Plastic is such a general term that I actually can't tell you. Your odds are decent with super glue. There is also a good stuff called plastic weld. So I don't know. I can't help you because there's so many different types of plastics, and what works good for one type of plastic doesn't work for another, or it'll stick it to one thing and not another. I would go to a plastic supply house's website, and they probably have an adhesive chart on there free for you. We have some plastic supply houses here, and that's what you look for, plastic supply house, because that's an industrial place that is going to have, they sell plastic to companies like sign companies or whoever has industrial uses for plastic.
When you sculpt detail, it has to be deep.
Depends on the detail. Like, I just finished my creature sculpt recently, and I would say its detail is not very deep at all. I did make it a little coarser than necessary, and I made it a little more obvious than necessary, because I think the mold is going to erode, and by the third or fourth pull of it, I should have exactly the texture that I want for several masks.
Great advice, thanks. I always sandpaper them, but that's a better way of talking about the lights and stuff. Return of the Living Dead, classic zombie. How long does it take to make one mask?
Okay, start to finish, if you're me, 16 hours. Sculpting it, molding it, pouring, pulling, painting, hairing, finishing, about 16 hours.
Best glue to use on latex body pieces to repeat your suit.
Probably contact cement, but I would also stitch it on in a couple spots. I'm going to remove the box from under it so it's lower so I can work on the tip top of the head.
Wrinkles on the forehead always messes me up.
It's okay, guys. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 7:49 p.m.
Yeah, I think about 8:30.
Well, I must love you and leave you. It's Mother's Day here, and me, Ma is visiting. See you again soon. That's
Okay, take care.
Do you break in all of the 16 hours? Do you break it all of the 16 hours? It's a good time for break work.
Read that again. Do I?
Do you break it all in the 16 hours?
Well, I mean, there's natural breaks in there, of course. I don't work. Well, now, have I made one start to finish in that time? I have, but that's not my preferred way to do things. I would rather my preferred way to sculpt is to sculpt for 4 hours on a sculpture, and then take a break, put it away overnight, and then when I come back to it the next day, I do 4 more hours and finish up the sculpture. So I take about 8 hours for a sculpt. And then if you're doing a two-piece mold, then you're going to spend about 2 hours doing the front half and maybe 2 hours doing the back half. So there you're at 12 hours. You're going to spend an hour at least cleaning it out. You're at 13 hours. Pouring it up, and then pouring it out. Let's just say an hour of work total. And then, another hour to paint, an hour to hair. That's how I normally do it.
How do you feel about monster breasts? Nipples? Or like a female werewolf monster with flesh counts?
I'm torn. If you watch the movie The Unnameable, that is very much a female monster with breasts. And sometimes it's necessary story-wise. Do I think that, if a creature didn't have it, it wouldn't upset me. I've never said, man, that would only be cooler if it had breasts. Like, never. Because they're gloriously impractical for, lots of running through the woods and those kinds of things. And if you look at female creatures who do those kinds of activities, they don't have pronounced breasts like that. So that is where I have to look at it and figure out, is it good for the story? Do they do it because they want it, they just like boobs sometimes.
Psycho X-Men says the nose is a Y with 3 wrinkles. Do you use a rake?
Yes, I use a rake. I always use a rake. Yeah, this nose is kind of a Y. This nose is, yes.
Brandon B says, I believe I understand. Medusa, harpies, succubus, etc.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's in the story, and it makes sense. But I wouldn't force them in. I think that's weird and creepy.
This Stacy says, Monster Boobs is going to be my Haunters sports bra line. You go, Stacy. Brandon D says, but it does mesh well with the humanoid experience and monstrous features, or is it just sexually gratuitous?
It can be either. It could be both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Doesn't have to be one or the other. I want people to have the ability to tell a story. And you know what? I want them to have the ability to tell a story I don't even want to hear. So, I would certainly protect a person's rights to make those kind of choices for their creature, but they're not choices that I would make. If I don't do the ears now, it's going to be hard for me to get back and work around the hair that's there to do them. But this is the last bit of long hair I will use on the ears. All the rest should be short hair on the ears. Going back to someone who asked if I used a rake. Yes, a rake is one of the most essential tools for sculpting. I could sculpt anything with a rake and popsicle sticks, but I need a rake. I prefer to have a wire loop tool, but it is secondary in its function to a rake. Any spot where I do see a little blob of silicone, I just put a clump of hair there, and it's going to meld right over it and hide it and make it look awesome. Let's back up and take a look at it. I gotta trim that ear hair a little bit. It's a little longer than this one, but I don't mind it.
The rake is a great tool. I'm seriously thinking about using this fiber in my head. Keeps this hugo.
It's really good stuff. I enjoy it.
I like the ear, the long hair on the ears. Alan, have you done many Wolfman masks more in the theme of Cheney's Universal, or Henry Cole's Wolfman Werewolf of London that have the fangs on the bottom of the jaw? If so, were you happy with the look?
Yes. Yes. It's an underbite werewolf. This is an underbite wolfman right there. I like that look. I think I am prone to underbites in a lot of my wolfman sculptures because of Cheney's, because of the look that Cheney had.
Will you do old man tufts out of the ears?
No. Yes, historical accounts of werewolves say that they have hair growing in and around their ears. Yes. But it doesn't look cool, so I ignore that. A lot of times the answer is do what you got to do to make it look cool. And that's why Dracula doesn't have hairy palms in the movies, really. And only Old Man. Only Old Man Dracula, when they had to drive it home, had the hairy palms.
The long ear fur, it looks like a caracal.
Like a what?
Caracal cat.
Well, this is caracal wool.
Spelled different. I have a story for my goat man, but I only shared it with my artists and thought I might be crazy writing a backstory for a creature. I'm very happy to hear stories are important in creations.
They are, because they help the artist figure out what to do. You know, your visual reference when you're sculpting, what it's really there for is to help you figure out what to do next. Because you're gonna think you're done about 30 times during the journey of a sculpture, and you're just not done. There's more to do, but you don't find out about the wrinkle on the side of the eye until you see that in visual reference. Like, okay, yes, I should add that in there. So that tells you what to do next. But the story is also a guidepost like that, you know. If I find out that this werewolf, maybe this werewolf is actually, you know, been captured by a witch, and he is a, you know, she fights him in the arena, you know, that I'm going to put some scars on him. I'm going to change him up a little bit. You know, if I find out this werewolf is a 20-year-old guy when he was turned into a werewolf, his hair's going to be a little darker than if he was a 45-year-old werewolf. The backstory informs the decisions.
So will that silicone permanently bond to the mask so the hair will never come off?
All right, so first thing you should learn, don't speak in absolutes. Don't use words like never, always, forever, because those are absolutes. And as soon as you speak in absolutes, you're going to be wrong. So I will not say to you, this hair will never come off. This hair will not fall off for no reason. This hair will not fall off in, you know, 2 years' time with, 3 to 5 years' time of light use. No, it'll stay on. Could you grab this hair and pull it off of this mask? Of course you can. But, you know, you can bolt 2 pieces of metal and I can get them apart with my bare hands. So, you know, I'm not going to say never. Is this the best way I have found to attach hair to a mask? Yes. Will it never come off? I can't say that. That is false advertising. Mayhaps I was too literal. But don't speak in absolutes, because you're going to be wrong. For every rule, for every certainty, there is an exception.
Psycho says, what happened to the 6-foot rule HQD? Sure, exactly. We gotta get that propane.
Yes. Any silicone that blobs up inside the ear just looks like earwax. You might notice that I just went closer. I didn't do 1.5 inches, I did about 1 inch. And I did that because now I start cutting that hair shorter. Now I'm going to pull off a hank. I cut it right down the middle. And now I have hair that's that long.
Lester sends good night, everyone. He's going to go work on the scope for the rest of the night.
That is awesome. You deserve it. Go do it. If I could work on a sculpture, that's what I'd be doing. Once again, the square end goes down and the other end blends in with the rest of the hair, the rest of the head. This stuff down here is probably dry. Yeah, see, that's dry. Yeah, if you have silicone that's like a year or two old, don't use it. Don't use old silicone because it might never cure.
Speaking of, how is the creature skull coming along? I saw your post with more details.
It's done. It's actually finished. So what I will do is I'll probably mold it tomorrow. I can show a picture of it before I go to bed.
Psycho X-Men wants to know what happened to the slap on a stick.
Oh, they're still around. I've got them finished. I'm getting them ready to go. But I want to have a couple because I think I'm going to sell like 4 or 5 of them right off the bat. So I want to have 4 or 5 ready to ship.
If you ever need to put hair on furniture, I have learned a lot tonight. It could happen.
You know what? Have you ever seen Elvis Presley's furniture that he had in his jungle room? When I was a kid, we went to Graceland, and I saw his furniture, and he had what my grandmother called the ugliest furniture she had ever seen. Look up Graceland jungle room furniture if you haven't seen it. And I thought it was beautiful. And why not have furniture that tells a story? I wouldn't mind having a cool Wolfman chair.
Rodney Pope would like to know how much the slap on a stick, and what was the other one?
They're going to be $35 plus shipping. It's the punch on a pole and the slap on a stick.
And that does not include the pole.
No, they are set up to go onto a pole because shipping a pole to you would be a nightmare, cost-wise.
I love the jungle room and the carpeted ceiling too.
Yes. He actually recorded several albums in there because the carpeted walls and ceiling gave really good acoustics. You don't have any silicone on you.
I've never been to Graceland.
We should go
Our massive spare
in our massive spare time.
It's looking so good. I love that hair. It's perfect for the mask. Killer look.
Hey, thanks. Who said that?
That was Bill Miller.
Thanks, Bill.
This dog has hiccups. Big bump. Psycho says you attach it to a broom. It's genius.
You could just use a broom handle, yeah. Okay, so here, all right, I have a lot behind the ear, so I need to lay in this here first. The jungle room and just that visit to Graceland it really helped me figure out that, you know what, I could be my own person, you know. Elvis did what he wanted, you know. He collected trikes, and he said, I want ugly furniture in it, you know. And I adopted his motto for a little while after that, taking care of business.
Stacy would like to know how her devil girl is.
She is fine. She is sleeping
She is the devil.
and muddy as heck.
If you put a swirl in the hair, it's still a. Is it still a cowlick? Yeah.
It's a wolf lick.
But I don't have to clean that room. It looks like a lot of vacuum.
Sweeping, man. Oh, that room. Yes. Jungle room. Sweep the walls, vacuum the ceiling.
Skin color choice goes with the hair.
That's the hope. I used to do all of them like this color, kind of. But now I go a little grayer on the gray werewolves. And I do gray skin on the gray werewolves and the black werewolves. And on the brown werewolves, I still do like a flesh color.
Hello, Scott Creighton.
Hey, Scott.
He says, what did I miss?
We're wolf manning it up.
Have you ever made werewolves or wolfmen? Have you ever made werewolves? WHERE wolves.
Here,
All right,
wolf.
spastic pug, what are you doing?
Here, wolf.
Stanley says, I'm interested in a slap and punch stick painted greenish. To go with your grouch, Stanley? Stanley see his grouch?
Yes, he saw his grouch.
Good.
Stanley, what are you doing with green ones?
Maybe a hole? Hello, Vic. Aren't you supposed to be watching a movie with the wife?
All right, I'm gonna, okay? But I wanted to finish the Wolfman
Psycho
first.
Axeman, man, he is on my side. I love the guy.
That was 8:30. I'll cut off, okay? I got 15 minutes. I don't think I'll get this done in 15 minutes, but I'll be really close. This
Chad
is,
Smith.
honey, do you know who ordered this?
Yes, Steve Dolenshaw.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm super late to the party. Have you done any work on the polar bear?
Yes, I can show you the polar bear before we go. Yes. I have done a little bit of work on the polar bear. Have I done enough work on the polar bear? Only you can be the judge.
Cara Beatty says, Scott, you missed most of the Herring of the Werewolf, talk of classic horror films, and extensive talk of wretched farts. It's true. Cara Beatty's correct.
She's sharing our secrets.
For dry brushing, which is better, foam brushes or bristle?
Bristle. Definitely bristle. Is Paul Bennett on tonight?
He is.
Okay. I have a question for Paul. Could someone type it out? Can Paul read lips? Because sometimes when he asks a question, I just make sure I face the camera and I say it. But if he can't read lips, I won't do that step. But if that helps in any way, then I will gladly keep doing it. You know, 'cause sometimes if I know he asked a question, I will turn and answer with my face.
Stanley says that he wants the green because he wants the arms for a Frankenstein prop.
Okay.
Chad Smith says, I ordered some glass, flat back eyes today for props and sculpting. Was 30 millimeters the right choice?
That's a good size. It's not bad.
Paul says he says, but not all of it, just a little bit of green lips.
Okay.
But we have a lot of people who are jumping in and helping Horror Beauty, and they are really They're getting the message, the info to him, so one way or another, we're gonna get it to you, Paul.
See how I'm looking at that line of silicone caulking, and I'm kind of shaping this into that line, and then I put it on.
Paul says he's been watching like a hawk.
Yeah, he's on most nights. And I'm on a lot. I'm live a lot lately. That's why I was going to stop earlier tonight, just to have some downtime, watch with the wife.
He says it does help if he can read your lips things.
Okay.
So between that and then the.
Yeah. So if he's asking a question, just make sure you tell me.
So are you going to make a permanent switch to wool, or are you going to have both full and wool choices?
Oh no, it's definitely going to be both because the wool doesn't have all the colors that I like, and the wool, I mean, the longest hair I can get is like 4 or 5 inches. So because wool just doesn't grow that long. There's going to be I'll be doing both, but on Wolfmen, yeah, this is really a nice way to do it.
Scott Great says, hey Shannon, maybe you should make Alan watch cat videos. You're right, Scott. But when you have 4 kitties running around the place, we have a lot of cat videos in real life here. There's always something. The other night there was 3 in bed with us, and neither one of us could turn over, move. You're just pinned by 3 cats. Alan, I've seen you use pre-made plastic fangs on several builds, but could you recommend any DIY methods? I've used flour pretty successfully.
FLOUR?
FLOUR.
Well, I mean, obviously you could sculpt them out of polymer clay. I think that's a good way to do it. Polymer clay teeth are very popular and common. You could always just sculpt and mold and make some of your own resin teeth. Michael Lassiter actually has some great little resin teeth that he sells. So I mean, there's lots of ways to do it, but I like the shape of them. I think they're scary looking teeth, so that's kind of why I use them.
Okay, so our plan with Paul is that when I see Paul is asking a question and I'm going to let you know it's him, you can turn to the camera and answer, and
Right.
then they're also going to help interpret it through the text.
Yes.
Great. I really like the way the wool looks on this wolf man.
Yes. It makes me happy. There was a Don Post mask that was a werewolf mask called Timber Wolf that I had when I was younger. For a while, I had like 6 different Wolfman costumes that I would wear, and Timber Wolf went with one of them. And his hair was wool like this, but it was not as coarse. It was a good mask. Served me well for a long time.
Thanks. I am making a large tentacle and like the hooked claws that are really circular and hook back
Have you seen the creature hand that I did? The creature gloves that I did for my sea creature / my own Gilman version? Yeah, the tentacles with the little teeth on them are freaking beautiful.
Such a great group of people on here, says Robin Hope. Alan, I'm out for the night. Been fun watching this project tonight. Looks nice, man. Have a great night, folks. That's Scoop Shack.
Thank you.
The Don Post mask you were referring to, is that the one you showed the other night?
No, the one I showed the other night was a Zagone Studios mask. Zagone is another mask company that's actually still in business. Don Post was bought out, I believe, by Paper Magic Group at one point in time. And then Paper Magic Group, I think, was bought by Ruby's. But Don Post is not around as a mask company anymore, sadly.
I did not see the gloves, but the mask is great. Which video is it?
It's a live video, probably around November, December.
Is there a reason you don't hair eyebrows?
I have. I do. Often I don't, because it's a lot of work to get eyebrows right. And it's real easy to see that they're wrong. They're kind of a detail, so you always wait to do them last. And then if you do them last and you do them poorly, you ruined your life. Well, maybe not your whole life, but the time you spent working on the mask, you ruined.
Ruby's has filed for bankruptcy.
Really?
If someone was going to start and sculpt, what are the basic tools they need?
Well, I mean, that's different for different sculptors because a different sculpting style is going to use different tools. I need a rake tool of some kind to rake out my forms. I need tongue depressors that I can cut different shapes in and use those to make different shapes. And I need a wire loop tool of some kind. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 8:23 p.m.
Before I discovered you, thanks, I'll go watch the back catalog. There's so much. This is what it is. I thought I read that Don Post's son works for a mask making company. I don't know if that's correct.
He did, yes.
Isn't it movie time?
Almost movie time.
What movie are you guys going to watch?
I think I want to get my wife to watch Sweetheart.
I'll watch it. You know, you're really making me sound like a stick.
I don't mean to. You're awesome.
Thank you. Fingers work great when you sculpt. What do you think it will mean for smaller costume houses if big dogs are folding?
Well, see, I don't think it is the same thing. The big dogs are folding because they've been putting out garbage. Ruby's is, I mean, the quality of what they produce is just not good. So, and I think that as cosplay culture becomes a thing, you're much more likely to get called out for a crappy costume nowadays than you would have been 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. So now we have this costume culture, and you just need a better costume. So Ruby's is folding, in my opinion, because everything they make is kind of garbagey, and people are more inspired to make their own stuff. Like cosplay, yeah.
Hugo just said, Cat Jenkins passed by. Hugo, you keep up with our pets so much. And yes, that was Jenkins the cat. She likes to come in and check on what we're doing.
Shannon has taken to calling Jenkins the general,
The general, she is.
because she kind of holds down the law in the house.
She is. She runs this place. She's only.
Now, see, now I'm being very careful to keep the silicone off of this scene. I don't want to see it. I'm being very careful with it.
Ruby's falls apart. That's why we buy Stilby Studio stuff. Oh, Psycho.
Well, I mean, it's just the look of it. It looks like they don't care.
Paul Bennett says, person stand up with straight jacket, lights flickering, 2 air cylinder prop hook up, then the person walks by and sets off so the person will be leaning forward and shakes.
Okay, I can see that. That's your
This is Paul.
okay. So read it one more time for me.
Person stand up with straight jacket, lights flickering. He's giving an idea of first pneumatic prop to create. So person stands up in straight jacket, lights flickering, 2 air cylinders, prop hook up, then the person walks by and sets it off. So the person will be leaning forward when it shakes.
That sounds like a good sequence of events. I would actually also do a sound of some kind to draw people's focus to where the prop is going to go off before it moves. Because sometimes if a prop goes off and they're not looking right at it, then they miss it. So have a sound get triggered, and then that'll draw their eyes to it, and then it pops up. I find that to be very helpful to get a scare out of animatronics.
There's a million videos on Ruby's Batman cowl. Here's how to make it look good. Ruby's Batman cowl.
Yes.
Have you ever read any Clive Barker? I just started his Books of Blood page turner. Hard to put down.
It is. I have all of his books of blood. I enjoy his work, and yes, Nightbreed is one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10. That's based off of some of his work. One of my favorite short stories is in the Books of Blood, called The Yattering and Jack. That's one of my favorite short stories. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 8:28 p.m.
See my fuzzy tip? I don't want a fuzzy tip. Now I'm using less and less hair, but I am taking a lot longer to apply it, so that It looks good. This is my last bit of hair, so its hairline has to be nice. Okay. We're closing in, wife.
It's like the Leon the professional, because you know banks always get knocked off. No one knocks off O's tummy. Says
Yes.
you know, costume stores always get knocked off. No one knocks off Alan.
Oh.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do, but I don't mind. You know, that's because one of the things that my company is aiming to do is I want to bring things to the haunted attraction industry that are missing, that we don't have. Maybe we don't have access to it or whatever, but I want to bring it to the haunt industry. So that's why I make new products and things. As soon as somebody knocks me off and they're bringing it to the industry, I can go do something else. It doesn't bother me.
On Paul Bennett's pneumatic design, motion sensor or step-up pad. You would also use that.
I prefer step pad. I like step pads as opposed to motion sensor. If you can, use an actor trigger because they have the best timing.
It's starting to remind me of the dad from Teen Wolf movie. Color.
Yeah, the hair color is right.
Is that a mask you are making for your haunted house?
No, this was sold. This was sold on my website. No, it's the dad from Teen Wolf.
I watched a documentary on the science of fear. Very informative for a haunt.
I watch a lot of that stuff if I can. Well, gang, I think I'll have to do the other side tomorrow. We're hitting my 8:30 time. And I have another probably 30 minutes in this to get it finished. But
Maybe you can do a coffee time and go live tomorrow morning.
oh, just finish him off.
Yeah, go live and everybody have coffee together.
I could do that. See, this side it's not as done. More done. The Wolman. So there you go. We got him almost all the way finished. But you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Oh, I said I would show that sculpture, didn't I? I'm going to show the sculpture.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you for being so supportive.
Everybody
So
who is
sweet.
supporting the channel, thank you so much.
You are so sweet. And just thanks for showing up. You guys are awesome.
And yeah, thanks for showing up. Exactly.
Thanks for showing up. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So here's the sculpture. Let me bring you guys down. Over here. Oh, and someone asked about the polar bear. That's the state it's in right now. The ears are on, and it's based. Go. What's woo?
Zooming in now.
Might help you see shadows on it better. Anyway, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm calling him done. I think he's going to make a nice mask. It is real tight to the head form, so I have to be careful when I mold it that my mold wall is exactly in the center of the head, because it could easily grab on this guy if I'm not careful. But this is him. I like the profile. Now remember, this head form is looking up a little bit. All right, so there you go. I'm actually going to spritz it with a little bit of water before I close it up. Just keep it from drying out. I will probably mold it tomorrow. I'm going to get this order done, get another order done, 2 orders done, and then I can mold this guy. Wrap up a sculpture the same way you catch an ostrich. Put the bag on your arms inside out, put it on top of the head. With an ostrich, you use a sock. You get a big gym tube sock. Get a big gym tube sock or emu. Put it over your hand, and you grab them by the beak, and then you just pull the sock up over their head. You let it go, they can't see, so they don't run. The smart emus, the dumb emus, still haul butt. And they run into stuff. It's hilarious because emus are jerks. But I digress. You guys are awesome. Wife, say goodnight.
Good night.
Go make stuff. We're going to watch a movie.
Yay!
Thank you, everybody.